Hello, I'm here today with the lovely Glynn Hughes. I nearly called you Lord Glyneth then, which is my nickname for you, isn't it? Um, Glynn is our EMF PHA ambassador for anybody that hasn't yet had the pleasure of meeting Glynn. And we felt like it would be a good time to have an ambassador series where we can talk to each of our ambassadors and find out what's going on for them at the moment, what's new in their subject matter. And Glynn certainly has a lot to talk about today, don't you, Glynn?
I usually do. And today's no different.
Absolutely. But, I mean, we're here to talk about EMF and other things, that it's a bigger picture, isn't it? And certainly from our conversations, I can appreciate that the way you're looking at EMFs and electrosensitivity has shifted somewhat in the last 12 months or so. Is that fair to say?
A couple of years to 12 months, yeah, and more dramatically in the last 6 months. Um, so the story behind that, as many of you will know, but not all, that I've been working in this field, excuse the pun, for 21 years. And for the first 18, 19, I was buried in the belief that all we could do was detect and protect. Um, and um, that was our strap line for the first 19 years: detect, protect, and sleep well. Because as we all know, that EMFs interfere with your sleep, and then that has a knock-on effect to all aspects of your health. So that was where I was focused, and my clientele range from, well, stepping back a little bit, one of the most common questions I've been asked over the years in this game, if you like, field, um, is what percentage of the world's population are electrosensitive? And my answer has always been, well, 100%. If you don't believe me, grab hold of a live and neutral wire and you'll have a sensitive reaction. It's just how sensitive you are.
Yeah.
And one of the big things that many of us who've been involved in this and looking at it from more or less the beginning have struggled to understand is why some people are more electrically sensitive than others. And so we do have that range of people that only feel, and that's the clue, or
Yeah.
rather the key word, only feel or think that they're sensitive. And it's because of the scale of reaction to sensitivities, if you like. So if on one hand somebody will have to get hold of the negative and positive wiring and take a shock to go, yeah, that wasn't much fun. I'm sensitive to that. But they won't actually equate the fact that some of the headaches and some of the less traumatic experiences and the lack of energy, the brain fog, the arrhythmia is a huge one. That some of the stuff that's been autism. Dr. Klinghardt could measure a pregnant woman's bed 20, 30 years ago for body voltage and reasonably accurately predict whether the pregnant woman would have an autistic child or not. Now, I'm not saying that's the whole story. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
There's definitely vaccines,
There's
etc.
other factors.
Yeah,
There's other factors.
diet, vaccine, stress. There's loads of
All
them.
of it.
But but he did have a degree of success with that, so it's definitely in there.
I think the thing is, though, Glenn, as well, people are used to operating, you know, not optimally, aren't they?
Yeah,
That's
that's
kind
right.
of
Yeah,
become their baseline is brain fog or poor
yeah,
sleep, and that's the norm now.
yeah. It is, and it's
So
ever
people aren't
decreasing.
noticing the impact of things because they've already changed their baseline.
Yeah, it's the boiling frog thing again, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's continuing to the point where we're going to boil to death if we don't do something about it. So I can't remember why I went down the rabbit hole. Oh yeah, the question of who's sensitive.
Yeah.
But there are some people, and I've got enough clients, and I've dealt, with enough and helped, and sometimes not been able to help um, enough clients with electro hypersensitivity. Now, that's the difference. And in the early days, we used to say, if you're electrosensitive, do something about it, because if you don't, you'll end up electro hypersensitive, and then it's too late to do something about it. That I don't believe is true anymore. I think we found the not the magic bullet, but I think we found a path to help most everybody come back a little bit out of that boiling frog pan, if you like.
Mm.
And we'll get to that before the end
Which
of
is
the
great news.
yeah. Um, and so I can't remember the professor's name. I've been trying to think of it all morning. I was going to contact a few people to find a name, but I didn't get time. It'll probably come to me before the end. But I was taught by this guy for a while, and he was the closest I ever came back 20 years ago or so to understanding the mechanism of electrosensitivity, but it still didn't identify why some were more suffered more than others.
Yeah.
Um, and his theory was that every cell in the body we know communicates with the other cells via a very, very weak and you know invisible, unless you've got like a super microscope. Uh, the cells have very, very tiny antennas with which they, just like a mobile phone network, they talk to each other with radio frequency.
Mm.
Very weak. We can't measure it, and when we say radio frequency, we mean sound frequency really, because that's all we've replaced the word sound with radio. That's what it is. It's a sound frequency. Um, and so he would say that when the body experienced high levels of radio frequency or sound frequency, um, the cells would go into like a war mode, funnily enough, lockdown mode. And this was 20 years ago, he was talking about
Mm.
that. And so they wouldn't ingest the nutrients properly because they're sort of hunkered down, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't expel the waste. And it was that now, I think, now that we've discovered what we've discovered, we can see that that was the basis of truth, but it wasn't the whole truth. And that's why we never were able to treat it. So we remained in that detect, protect, and sleep well. Because if I've done hundreds, I don't really do them anymore, but I've done hundreds of surveys, and it's almost always the same for me. I'll go into the house and we'll look at the downstairs and say, well, this isn't ideal, but we can do this, we can do that, switch that off, turn this off and put this in, and it'll make it a little bit better. But we get into the bedroom, and that's where the serious stuff happens. That's where, the you often, when if you're called out, it's because people are sick. So we'll often find in the bedroom what we call the beam of maximum intensity, which is basically lethal. Um, and that will, depending on the severity of it, as how long it takes to be lethal. It could be 50 years or it could be 50 weeks, And so what we've traditionally done over the years is put a bed canopy up, and they're still valid. They're still that will always remain. Minimize your exposure.
Mm.
And so we put a bed canopy up, and then the levels will go down, and we come back to that. What have they got used to? Particularly insomnia has been wild for the last 30 years, really, and ever increasingly so. It's nobody's sleeping, and so when you put a canopy up, then people start to sleep. And we've had testimonies of fibromyalgia disappearing almost overnight after a canopy goes up, so they're still
Yeah.
valid.
Yeah.
But what we haven't been able to do until now, which is what I'm really excited about, so we've been changing the people's external environment. Now we've found a way to change the internal environment, and that's the exciting things. And if we do both of those,
Yes.
I'm living proof of it. If we do both of those, then we can start to get well.
Great
And then
news.
all the other And again, when we talked about Dr. Klingart and his autism thing, it's not the whole picture. But if we can get these things working so we can minimize exposure and then maximize how we treat the EMF exposure symptoms and results of, so we've got external stuff internally. We think we've discovered why people are moving increasingly towards autoimmune disease. Um, and we found a way to change it. So that,
You are connecting the dots, aren't you?
yes,
You are.
indeed. And that is literally what it's been about. It's about, so I've been blessed and privileged to, some of you will have seen before, interviews we've done with Lisa Swarbrick.
Mm.
And she's, I still think she's one of the brightest brains on this subject. And she's been connected, although, am I allowed to say this or not? Because the person I'm going to talk about is a little bit concerned for his life. And when I tell you why, well, who he is, then
Yeah, probably not, but I think we can talk about the technology that you're.
yeah, okay. So an individual um, that is a relative of a significant other individual in frequency healing, a name that all of us know. And this chap is a grandson of that chap, and he's working with some other scientists, and we've been fortunate and blessed to get to work with them as well. Um, and they've been working on what I've always called friendly wave technology, and been pretty skeptical about, and I still am about most stuff. Because um, it's important not to raise people's hopes with unachievable potential results. And that's
Um,
what most products in this area do. That's the best way I can put it. um,
yeah.
but this stuff is not just designed to mask, it's almost like a lot of the stuff out there, that what I call friendly wave technology, with some good exceptions, um, is almost pharmaceutical in so much as it'll mask the symptom rather than heal the symptom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or prevent
Hmm?
or prevent the symptom.
Yeah. Um, so I think we're gonna put a link to a video I've done on this, haven't we? There's more
Yeah.
accurate versions of what's going on there. But basically, we've discovered that our cells, what we've tended to think is our cells are chemical, but they're not just chemical. They're water based, and water carries, before all this stuff, I'm not just talking about EMF, but before we started to assault the body with pesticides and,
Mm.
of course, EMF and stress levels beyond and all the rest of it, then our frequency within our water, within our cells, the water carries the frequency, was as we were designed to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that frequency is actually what it wasn't as simple as I indicated earlier. It wasn't as simple. That frequency is what controls and allows the cell voltage gate opening and closing, and therefore the distribution of the correct vitamins and minerals around the body. That's where the problem comes from. So the EMF comes into the body.
Absorption, isn't it, by
Yeah,
the cells?
yeah,
And if that cell membrane is being attacked,
yeah,
then it starts to block
yeah,
things going in and out.
exactly. Um, so what the guys came up with was not a masking of the problem, was how do we inject that frequency back into the cell? And it's simple, water.
Mhm.
So, and I know that there's a lot of people going around with various water products, and I'm not saying that ours is the only one and everything else is not the only one, but we've combined it with two other things. So we've got the same sort of frequency water, except you've got two levels with the company I'm now working with. You can have the overall product, which will work for all of us, to a degree and to a high degree. Um, and I speak from well, everything I've ever done. I've always tested before I talked about it, and I'll tell you what I've done before the end of the interview. And so you can do that, and it's cheap. It's cheap as chips. It changes your life, or you can have a hair sample with this famous person's grandson, whose name shall remain. Um,
This is
and
on a
that,
postcard, please.
yeah, I guess one or two will be guessing it already. Um, and then it's not cheap. It's 1,000 Canadian dollars, which is about 550 quid, I think. But you get an hour with the guy, and he
Mhm.
designs the water frequency specifically for you.
Your DNA.
Yeah, I haven't had that done yet, and I'm looking forward to having it done. It's going to be amazing. Um, and then the other thing, um, the elephant in the room that I've avoided really for the last 21 years is geopathic stress. And I'll tell you why I've avoided it. Today, we can measure it. We can only measure it by dowsing, and that makes it difficult for me to take that to the mainstream. In fact, it makes it difficult to take to most people. Those of us that are, if you like, spiritually awake and have dowsed, can dowse, have seen the results of dowsing. Um, some will say it's 100% accurate. I don't think it is. Um, I think it's valid, but it's not 100% accurate. Excuse me. And the other thing is geopathic stress, because it's a water course, moves. So you might have a line one day where you sit on your bed, and the next day it's moved. It's on the other side of your bed or whatever. And we can't all douse, and we can't all afford to call out a geopathic stress consultant every couple of weeks. And the same grandson is of is convinced after his research that geopathic stress is probably equally as, if not more dangerous than some types of EMF that we associate as being the bigger problem, like the smart meter or the cell tower or whatever. And the two things are interacting. Um, so moving on to what I've done. Well, the third thing is the sticker for the phone, which I've always been the world's biggest, no way, you're not doing it, it doesn't work, it's a load of nonsense, you can't do it. And we've got to be a little bit careful with that because it is more of a mask of the problem. You cannot, for example, um, the when I developed the block sock, which was the first product I ever developed, I worked with a guy called Dr. Gerd Oberfeld in from Salzburg in Austria. He's one of the brains. And he said, yeah, but you're only dealing with the radio frequency. You've got to deal with the magnetic field, which is only, and that magnetic field, by the way, which is probably only about 2 to 5 centimeters in length, is why in the instructions for the iPhone or the Samsung or whatever, it says keep it 5 centimeters away from your body. It's not the radio frequency that they think, and they know. Samsung et al. They know exactly what their products are doing to people's brains, um, and so it's interesting, isn't it, when you think the radio frequency or the electric field that forms the radio frequency may go for a mile. but the magnetic element of that electric field will only go for 5 centimeters, and that's the bit they're warning you about.
Mm, interesting.
Yeah. So we've got to have a caveat still that the stickers don't give you, and the way we're using them is different. That people think, oh, put a sticker on and that's it. I can have a nice conversation on the phone all day and I won't get a brain tumor. That's not the case. But what the what these guys have done, which is and I'm evidence of it, I've seen it working, is they've used various appliances to energize the stickers. So we have these stickers, and they can be put on phones, they can be put on microwaves, they can be put on cookers, they can be put on hair dryers, they can be put on mains boxes. I've got one on mine. They can put on your laptop, your Wi-Fi router, etc. And anything that actually has a magnetic field will power up the sticker. And then what the sticker does is send a frequency that basically represents shungite and orgonite, but it's into the atmosphere. And what you're doing by dotting them everywhere, and they're cheap as chips, you by dotting them everywhere, you're creating that they're all working on the same frequency, the frequency that the water wants within you. Your cellular frequency, funny enough, isn't that ironic? You cell frequency.
Yeah.
Um, Somebody's got a sense of humor. Uh, and so what you then do, you bombard your environment as much as possible with the friendly frequency that our body goes, oh yeah, great, and starts opening and closing its cell gates. And over a period of time, what we're seeing is people over 6 months, the whole health, I'm feeling mind changing. The whole health is changing. They're sleeping better, they've got less brain fog, they've got more energy. Uh,
Mm,
you name it, all the stuff that we've been robbed of since
mm.
the invention of this technology is coming back.
That's
And it's
amazing.
really exciting. So the way I've done it, so my boudoir has traditionally had a bed canopy and a memon, which is a friendly wave technology that I do actually approve of,
Yeah.
although it's very expensive and it's not as coverall as the stuff we've now got. Um, but I've become the Memon did, it has been a great product for me and allowed me to go places because I'm electrosensitive. It's allowed me to go places that I wouldn't have been able to go to before. So it's taken a lot, and canopies likewise. I've become a bit of a canopy addict. Don't forget, I've been doing canopies since I don't know 2006 or something like that. Maybe a bit later than that, 2007. Um, and so, but recently I was brave enough to take the canopy down, take out the memon, shield it, because you've got to shield it, otherwise it will still work, um, and try this new system. And the new system is the stickers and the main element of it, the water. And basically, water is just you have a like a spritzer, and
Yeah.
yourself. You can do it on your clothes. It works on your clothes because it lands on your clothes and it's just transmitting a frequency into your cells. I tend to do it without gloves. And you just spray your whole self in the morning, spray your whole self at night, and then at
You can
night
drink it, can't you, as
you
well?
can drink it. You can just add a couple of sprays to a reverse osmosis water. Um, it needs to be a fairly pure water, although they say if you use uh, the frequency water, it will deal with pretty much everything anyway. So I don't know. I like to use a pure water.
Mm.
Um, and then there's vortexes, and the vortexes are dealing with geopathic stress. So they're little tubes. In my case, I've got four in the bedroom. You put them 8 feet apart around the bed, and it creates a vortex, which you then get into when it's time to go to sleep. You've got the stickers, you coated in the water. You've got the stickers. I've got a sticker on my mobile phone. I used to turn it off, now I don't. I turn it on to airplane, and the magnetic field will power the sticker, which will then send the frequency out into the room constantly, and that helps you sleep. And then the orgonite and shungite frequencies at a much more powerful rate than you can get from just a piece of stone. If
Yeah.
you comes
Yeah.
out from the vortexes.
So the metal tubes, are they portable? If you were going to go and stay in a hotel, would you take them
Yeah,
with you?
yeah. If you pause, I'll go and get one. Oh, can we do? I don't know. I can't see.
Yeah, we can see that.
Well, you can see the size of them.
Yeah.
So you really need four, but you can sling those in your handbag or your coat pocket,
Yeah.
um, and take those with you. And
It's
then
great.
some people are using for the water at night. They're using the humidifier, so they're pouring the water into the humidifier, and that circulates around. But so I did the so I was expecting when I did my experiment to not sleep as well because I was taking away the shielding.
Mm.
Now, the caveat to that is not everybody can do that because I'm in a rural place with very limited shielding anyway.
Yeah.
Of course, we've now got uh, SpaceX. Is it called SpaceX? What's it?
Starlink.
Starlink, yeah, which is most SpaceX. Right? Well, that's the name of the company. Um, we've been talking about it, haven't we, recently? And you've got three levels of it. So you've got basic level, and it's available everywhere. Uh, and that's actually probably not quite as good as most broadband now. And then you've got a medium level, which will be better than most broadband. And then you've got a high level, which is super fast. And so we're all walking around in that. We're not, we can't look at an area and go, oh, look, there's no phone mast here. So we'll be all right.
Because it's
Yeah.
up
Now,
there.
I haven't got equipment to measure it yet, or nothing that's registering it. And we've got to remember that you do need a satellite dish to get the signal. So I don't want to create fear with it where the fear doesn't need to be. Um, but it's part of the ever increasing electric soup. Excuse me. I had a client yesterday. It's been a client of mine for about 16, 17 years. And she said the water board had just turned up in her neighborhood and they basically put smart meters on everybody's house. And then we used to think, oh, we've only got electric smart meters. And then they bought gas ones along, didn't they? And then they
Mm.
bought the odd one had the odd water meter had one, but now they're everywhere. And you've got Starlink and you've got high speed fiber to the door, which is also creating a different um, frequency problem. So I think it's the timing of what I've been doing had to be done.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we were all doomed. And you said, Lisa, earlier on about most people are dumbing down and down and down and down, and they're not recognizing why some. And I was just reading some stuff in the book. What's it called again?
Yeah, what's it called?
Healing is Voltage by Jerry Tennant. Um, and it's American based, of course. He was talking about how the doctors now are not allowed to, in some states, to talk about nutrition um, and offer vitamin C and so on and so forth. And pharma are just increasing their control, as we know, um, and and so the general population just doesn't know.
Mm.
But it is that boiling frog thing.
Mm.
Back to that question that I was talking about earlier. What percentage of the population are electrosensitive? Better question was what percentage of the population are not nearly dead? Well, those that are,
And what percentage are aware that they're
yeah.
electrosensitive?
Um, so so I'm excited about the new what would you call it? The new channel of healing that we've discovered.
Absolutely. But also, how, so you did your experiment. What were the results for you personally? What have you found from using these three things,
Yeah,
stickers, water, and vortex?
yeah. Well, I've only been on it probably about 6 weeks. One of my big problems is I've suffered from atrial fibrillation, which is quite ironic, really, when most people are putting the massive, it's endemic, is atrial fibrillation, and those of us on this side of the fence are putting a lot of it down to EMF. There's all the nutrition and everything as well,
Mm.
stress, etc. And in my case, it's I had an imbalanced body due to a motorbike crash. But and as you know, I've had extensive treatment on the natural side and extensive treatment on the NHS side, and nothing really has worked. But I'm definitely seeing an improvement in that since I've been using this stuff. And they reckon that in 6 months it'll be a different story altogether.
Wow.
Um, I've got more energy. Um, Thinking is so much clearer. I wake up in the morning and I've got that usual groggy feeling that everybody has, and then I'll spray myself, and I'm just fitter, healthier, brighter, more quick thinking, not sort of can't be bothered, more energized,
Yeah.
mentally, physically, and emotionally. Um,
Yeah.
one of the things this guy does is he's got the frequency for compassion and love and empathy, and he puts them into the water.
Wow. That's great.
Um,
I
and
know a few people who could do with some of that.
yeah, I think you do, don't you? So do I. Yeah, I definitely do. So that's the exciting news. We're still doing all the other stuff, and it's still relevant. There are places where, like where I live, where you can get away without a canopy, and like where you live, I've always said to you, haven't I? Yeah, you're okay, you don't need one. Um, but that's just saying, well, you're not getting exposed to a massive amount of radio frequencies, so it's not going to make that much difference, and it doesn't look great. And if you don't have to have one, we don't have one. It's still
This
helping.
is actually, improving your cellular health, isn't it? And
Yeah,
therefore your overall health.
yeah,
So
yeah,
exciting stuff.
yeah,
So
um,
this, you've done a short video, haven't you, which
yeah,
really explains a bit more of the detail of this.
yeah,
So we will share a link in the description of this so that people can have a look at that.
yeah.
Um,
And in regards, lots of you will be saying, "Oh, well, I want some of this because it's not expensive. The only expensive, no, not expensive, but the most expensive bits are these. And I'm not sure what the price point of these is going to be yet because I'm literally just importing the.
mm,
I've got one small import that I've been using myself for testing and stuff. I've got a bigger one on the way now.
I'm going to
Uh,
be trying it myself very soon.
mm, um, so I think these will be around about 70 quid each, something like that, and that's the most expensive bit. Um, and you need four of them. It's another thing you can do is if you don't want to just have it in the bedroom, you can place them strategically around the building that you live in or work in. You need a lot more than them, but still not massively expensive. And then the whole building is within the vortex, and so the whole building is removed
Yeah.
of geopathic stress. And I think that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not. I'm looking at ways of moving from where I am at the moment, so I'm not necessarily. It wouldn't really work here where I am.
Is
Uh,
there a life? Like how long do they last? These vortex, or they
as far as I
keep going
know,
forever?
they should go on forever. Yeah, it's
Exciting.
yeah, yeah. It's basically precious metals that's in them. Not so precious, but actually a little bit of silver and gold,
Mm.
um,
Mm.
and some other stuff, as far as I can understand.
So
Obviously,
it's to watch this space, isn't it, in terms of distribution and availability for people, but it's pretty close, isn't it?
within the next couple of weeks.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And then the water comes in little bottles, and basically you get as many of those as you think you need. And the thing to do is to discipline yourself. If you just go, oh yeah, I squirted it and that was it, then you won't have any effect at all. And if you go, oh, it's Monday, I just squirted myself last Wednesday, it's Monday, I better do it again, you won't have any effect at all. You've
Yeah,
got
you got to
to,
be consistent.
yeah, do it in the morning, do it in the afternoon. You've got to do some strange things, get into some strange body positions because you've got to, if you do it as single like me, living on my own, oh, I have to sort of bend down and squirt it in the air so it lands on my back. um,
Well, perhaps at some point we can get, inbuilt showers.
yeah, yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it?
That would be good. But for now, I mean, this is really exciting stuff. It's been very well timed, this catch up, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
that's,
this is a big deal. Um, and yeah, I can't wait to try it. I'm going to be first on your list,
yeah, we'll get you going.
and then we can share that testimonial as well. But you do have a lot of testimonials, don't you? So
Mm.
if people are interested in learning more, they can watch your video, but can they also contact you with any questions if
Yeah,
if we invite them through PHA?
yeah, of course, yeah.
Sure, there'll be lots of questions because obviously this is a subject that affects a lot of people, whether they know it or not.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think it's one of those for the practitioners. It's one of those that will retain patient loyalty, and um,
it will, have a very positive impact on their healing, won't it?
yeah,
Of
and it'll
their of
also
their
take
clients.
it will, and it'll take that pressure off. But what I hear from obviously, working in the field I do, I have a lot of contact with natural health practitioners, and they're all saying the same thing. We're trying to heal our our patients, and they get a little bit better, and then they're back again. They're back again and not well. And we get the various technology out that we've got to measure them, and it's back again. And the EMF is always on there. Well,
Mhm.
even if we are really careful, unless we do this level of stuff, where most, so I'm sat here now. I'm on the water. I'm covered in the water, obviously, which is do it twice a day. There's a sticker on my computer. There's a sticker on my phone. Um, I've just got a vortex thing out to show you, which I wouldn't normally have. But and of course the bedroom is super clean. So all day I'm bathed
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
in friendly radio frequency that my cells are going. Oh, great! I can open up the gates again now. The voltage gates are alive.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about this whole topic is it's not the visible eye, the eye can't see this. So a
Mm.
lot of people are just not accepting or
That's
willing to explore the issue.
It's always been the problem with EMF.
Yeah.
It's always been the problem.
Yeah.
If you even if you get a lettuce and you taste it, you go, there's something in that. And before, well, I've got various ways of getting water. Um, but before I had fitted a little, the little water taps that Craig does.
Yes. Yeah.
I noticed it, and Craig came in to do that, and he switched my standard, waterboard water on. Not that's not that was stuff I was drinking, but it's there, it's still there
Mm.
for washing and showering, which I
Still
should.
showering. Yeah.
Yeah. And his first job was he went down to sniff it, and he said, "Well, it's not too bleachy." And we've got used to it. I mean, I'm
Exactly.
that's my thing that you can't see. But
Mm.
actually, you can smell it now. Once he'd done that, then everywhere I go now, when I first go to a hotel or wherever I go, I'll do it.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm really bleachy here. You go to one in London when
yeah,
we
yeah,
did, didn't we? That back end of last year at that show, and it just stinks of bleach. Yeah,
yeah. It's like being in a swimming pool.
yeah. But most
Well,
people won't see that and won't
yeah,
smell that.
yeah. Well, you become desensitized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think this has been great. I mean, it's very exciting. I'm really excited about it. And, you know, let's see. We'll provide this information to people. If anyone's got any questions, they can follow up with us. But once you're distributing, we can let people know and start to share this. I mean, it's really exciting news for those of us that are aware and those that aren't yet,
Mm.
because we can all feel better. We can all be healthier. Um, and yeah, keep connecting the dots, Glynn.
Yeah. There's a new video coming out today as well, which I'll send to you.
Brilliant. Okie dokie. We'll catch up again soon.
Yeah, great.